Hello, 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 and welcome to a very special edition of a Car Chronicles review. This is All Things Terrifier. If you are squeamish, if you are not into Terrifier, this is not the review for you. It's not. However, if you are a horror person like myself and like the gentleman next to me, please stay. Please stay. I want to say hello and welcome to T.A.G's own LipDizzle.
Yeah, buddy.
We are going to talk about Art the Clown is really what we're going to talk about. Okay. We're going to really get into Art the Clown there. There he is. Okay. So if you don't know anything about Terrifier, part 3 just came out. And a lot of people are like, where are the other parts? Wait, after we get to part 3 already, there are actually 4 in the franchise, but the first kind of don't really count.
Yeah. All Hallows Eve. Wait, so now I haven't seen the Ninth Circle. Is that part of that?
Yeah, it's one of those stories in All Hallows Eve.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, with the lady that was with child. I'll stop there. So we start off with Art the Clown. All Hallows Eve came out in 2016. It is an anthology series from the producer Damien Leon, I believe, or Leone. I don't know. Leon.
I think it's Leone.
Okay, Damien Leone. And Art the Clown was played by Mike Gianelli at this point. Okay. So we're introduced to Art the Clown via a tape that is located by this lady. And she starts watching, she's babysitting these kids. She starts watching the tape. And that's how we first get our taste of Art the Clown. And he does some interesting things, right? At this point, everyone who's watching it is like, okay, we just have an anthology. Sometimes anthologies are weird and gory. Sometimes they're not. You know, we went with it. We were fine. What were your thoughts, Lip?
So with All Hallows Eve, I didn't see all of it. I only saw like bits and pieces. I need to go back and watch it. Because the thing that got me was Art's design when I first saw like the bits and pieces of it, because it seemed weird because it was like so minuscule. Right. And bare, but at the same time, it was like there was something about it that still was like you could tell whenever they had the idea to move forward, it was like it was that his presence alone was what made it to be like, okay, something about this is gonna work. And then when you get to Terrifier 1, which I'm pretty sure you're gonna segue into, everything started to make more sense, and then it kind of just went completely off the rails in terms of, you know, where we have people that either, you know, it's either a hit or a miss. You either like it or you don't. I don't think there's really any gray area in terms of.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm in what the white. I guess we would call it the white, where you all for it and you just like, yeah, I'm here for everything, because when I watched the first one, it was so like, what the fuck is happening? Because from the beginning, it seems like it starts off like, okay, your typical slasher, but you know, you got the right, you know, type of atmosphere when it comes to like a clown killer. And then it just ramps up to where it's like, what the fuck is happening?
What is going on? And I think for us in the white, as you say, that's something that kind of drew us in, because in my opinion, and you can disagree with me or not, Art is kind of more a mime jester than a clown for me.
Yeah. I think anytime I say clown, I think it's because of his outfit, but he is definitely mime territory. Yeah.
And we were gonna go into the first one, which actually did come out in 2016. Art is now played by David Howard Thornton. And he is there is something about that man that scares me and intrigues me, because you want to be frightened to death when you see him smile, but you then want to have a drink with him too and be like, well, maybe I don't know. Like, I don't.
And when we get into Terrifier 3, I think that's the point where, to me, he gets into Freddy Krueger territory, because I think I laughed more at 3 than I did in any other one. Agreed. And that is completely based on just the way that art has been portrayed across these films. And yeah, so but as far as 1 goes, there's a point at 1, and I'm gonna ask you about it as far as when we get to 3, because I see they continued that part on, but there almost seems to be like a switch in art, and I seen it in 1, but I don't think they didn't do it in 2, if I can remember correctly. But when it comes to like the gun seems to be like something that like you can almost tell is like it's how art portrays like emotion or something like that. Because when 1 happened and he pulled out the gun out of nowhere, I was like, whoa, hold up. Slashers don't do this. And then his face is like completely just like, and I'm just like, yo, the fuck is happening? Because I'm like, yo, she gonna get away, like he gonna walk, he probably gonna stab her, but he's too far away. Next thing you know, and I'm just like, bruh.
I said the same thing to my friend earlier. Like, and just so y'all know, we're not having just a conversation between ourselves. In 1, we follow Tara, Dawn, and Victoria. Tara and Dawn are just some party girls. They're just partying, having big old fun, whatever. They end up running into Art. And they probably, the 2 seconds that they lived to regret, they regretted every second. Okay. And Victoria's introduced. She came to help because she got a frantic call, and she was like, oh, I'm coming to help. She probably shouldn't have done that either. But Tara is played by Jenna Cannell. Victoria is played by Samantha Scafati, and Dawn is played by Catherine Coracan, something like that. And we see these 4 women. Art at this point, I feel like 1 was establishing this cat and mouse predatoriness that's in Art, in his character. It's kind of I like to play with my food a little bit before I eat it, gimmick. And it's like, okay. And like you said, you think, oh, you got it, you good. Oh, no. Oh, well, he turned the tables on you. He's very quick, and it's like he's always 1 step ahead. And it's like, what do you have in that bag?
Yeah, it's because it's like, the thing is like, it's almost like inherent, like it's just like second nature of how he kills. Like, he's so used to killing to where it's like he has an answer for everything. Everything he wants to do is like, you could think about doing this or doing that. It's like, yeah, no, I got this for you. Yeah. And the fact that, like you said, like he has like this play with your food mentality, and it's shown especially with that image right there. Yeah. In that small, I think it was a pizza shop. How he kind of just chills, let them do what they do, and then not even go. But the way that he was staring, I believe it was a Tara that whole time. Yeah. How it was Kat who was like, it was Don who was like messing with me and taking the picture, and the whole time he's just like looking at Tara, and it's just like, bro, what kind of hard on you got for her? Because that's just like, and she could tell. And she could tell, and it's just like the whole time, it's like it's unsettling, but it's like you still kind of rocking with it because it's still the beginning of the movie, right? And then you get into the whole thing when he gets it, when he captures Don,
and it's like he's such a small man, like if he was some towering, really heavy, muscular dude, you'd probably be a little more intimidated. But it's
but it's like he's just so thin.
Yeah, Yeah, it looked like a good strong wind come along and he got pneumonia. You know what I'm saying? How do you do these things? And it's like you look at him and say, I could take him. If he came to me, I could take him. But that bag of treats says otherwise.
Yeah, he looked like one of them videos where it's like you see the person carry the trash bag and they throw it over the back of their shoulder and they all fall back. It don't seem like he can carry that duffel bag or the trash bag at all.
No. And the Rotten Tomato score on Terrifier 1, it was actually a 60%, which I think is pretty good for a gory type film, you know, because people act like when something's gory, it's like, oh no, we can't watch it. Oh, people fell out. Shut up.
And the thing about it, I was telling Scoot the same thing about it. I was like how they did the movies. The first one feels like an extended short film just on the feel of it, and then of course you get into 2 and it seems more fleshed out. But I can get how people can get turned off by like watching 1. Yeah, because of just how it feels, because it does seem like though like a B movie type thing that you would just like a popcorn horror movie, right? But it's one of those things where if you actually sit and you give it a chance, it's just like, yo, I'm here for a good time.
Exactly. But it wet my whistle personally because it wasn't enough in All Hallows Eve. I was like, okay, that's fine. And then we're like, okay, we got a movie, and I'm like, this now wait a minute. So we're going to have another one? And it left me wondering, well, what's the next one going to be about? Because in this one, okay, we got this ending that's kind of weird. And okay, he was supposed to be dead, but he died. Yeah. So now what is he going to do? Because at this point, to me, I'm still wondering, how do you select who you kill? So I can sign up on the opposite list. Because at this point, it seems very like, hey, I just saw you. Now you and your friends or anybody that's in my way, or hey, that man that's walking right there, done. Whatever, Scoop. You know. So now I'm eager. I want to get into Terrifier 2 to see what's going on, which came out in 2022, and we are introduced to Sierra Shaw and Jonathan Shaw. Sienna is played by Lauren Lavera, and Jonathan is played by Elliot Fulliam. And if I'm messing up these people's names, I am so sorry. But we get into these two, and it starts to form this story, in my opinion, where you're like, okay, we're following these kids. We're trying to figure out what's going on with them. You know, it gave me, and excuse me for saying it like this, but it gave me a little bit of that Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors when Kirsten was making the house. You know, that's how it gave me that vibe. And I said, now what are we doing here, Sienna? What you got here, baby? What you working on? You know, so you get a little curious to me because I'm like, okay. Well, what's the story behind this? Because she's a little old. And I'm doing my fingers. She's a little old to make little cosplay dolls. You know, is she trying to be She-Ra? Like, what we doing? So when we get into Terrifier 2, I can say all hell breaks loose.
So one shout out to Lauren Lavera, because I love how she portrays Sienna. Yeah. And I think, and going into Terrifier 3, I think that she's a staple final woman, you know, or final girl, however the phrase that they want to coin on it. But the fact that they, and kind of how you said how he just picks his quote unquote victims. Yeah. In this movie, there seems to be kind of that same infatuation that he had with Tara in the first one with Sienna, but then going into like the fact of us talking like the Dream Warriors comparison, the fact that, you know, she starts seeing him in her dreams, and especially when you get to that one scene, but is she calling that the Clown Cafe?
I think that's what she called the Clown Cafe, that psychotic break.
Yeah, so when you like going through this and then finally seeing them kind of interact, and then in I think the first time they saw each other, was it the costume shop, or was it somewhere before then?
I think it was the costume shop when she was getting those wings.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So having that whole interaction between those two and how he just kind of just lingered around her, and then yeah, and then her just kind of like trying not to interact with them, and then him kind of just doing his thing. It was like that to me. That was like the nice like cat and mouse thing, or like the Joker to my Batman type thing, where it's like I'm gonna keep messing with you until like you acknowledge that I'm here,
right?
And then her just kind of just going more into this, and to see how she's like how she freaked out, and then pun intended, but terrified, by him throughout this entire film, and then to see how she like grew. And then and this is why I love her portrayal, because you see, and she portrays so well how it affects her.
Yeah.
In like the best, most realistic way.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I love about this franchise, is because it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it takes itself serious enough to where you like, there's no way that you can watch these movies and be like, they didn't at least try their best to make an actual good film.
Right.
And I think that's what I appreciate more about it.
And I think that, shout out, and I don't know whose idea this was, we're going to give Damien the credit. So the people who get my reference from Dream Warriors would probably also get my reference of, oh, two people in a van about to do what? Oh, okay. Now we're into the Friday the 13th era. You know what y'all about to do? Oh, okay. Somebody's gonna die. Probably both of y'all. Like, you're drawing in off of those elements, and you're keeping people who are hungry for this hungry, because we're talking about iconic slashers. You're giving the ode to them and their story, and we're like this. We know what's coming. We know what's coming. I feel like, especially the momentum builds in Terrifier 2. Every time you digest a good kill, then here comes another one. So you stay full the whole time.
And they do it so well, because like the pacing with the kills, like I don't know if they extensively like plan it out that way, but going like how they did everything like with the clown cafe, how they did that, and then going into the costume shop and what happens there, all the way up until the point where you get like basically the middle, and you get the quote unquote bedroom scene. You get that, and it's like, now you have to digest this. So while you're digesting the bedroom scene, the movie's actually going on. So it's like you get that nice reprieve, because after that, after experiencing that, it's like you're happy with what you get after, because you're not just being like complete like, oh, you're just throwing gore in my face at this point. Right. You're like, okay, you're giving me a chance to kind of just reprieve, and then you get into like the third act after that. And it like you said, it keeps you the entire time, to where by the end of the movie, it's like you're almost happy it's over, but it's like you still are like, that was a good movie. I'm kind of glad I don't have to experience any more of that. But at the same time, like, you had me up to this point. Now I want to know what more you have for me.
Exactly. And so, again, Rotten Tomatoes, 87% for Terrifier 2. That to me is very impressive.
Man,
again, this is a niche audience. You know what I'm saying? And we are sickos.
and I guess dedicated sickos at that.
Right. But to capture us like that, and let's shout out Chris Jericho. Okay. When I was watching it, you know what? Whatever, Scoot. When I was watching this, it was Chris Jericho. And let's go a step further. The mid-credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all doing this to us? Oh, you want us to be fans? Okay. That's all you had to say. I'll just sign a form on the way in. It's cool. I get it. I'm with it. Like, here's the thing. What we didn't discuss, how could we miss her? The pale girl.
And that and as I watched Terrifier 2, that was always the biggest question mark because it was like, where did this come from? Because like I'm like, did I know I didn't miss anything in
Right,
Terrifier 1,
right,
and it's like I'm sitting here just like, as she pops up, I'm just like, what?
right. I was
And
like,
throughout
wait.
in the entirety of the movie, even when you get close to the end, like you still like, wait a minute, what's
And that
happening?
is Amelie McLean. I don't know how to say that name. Emily.
Uh oh yeah, I don't know. It's either Emily or Amelie.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the hell she came from, but this little bitch here. um, what? When we talk about Terrifier 3, I'm going to give you my guess of where she came from.
Okay.
And yeah, when we talk about Terrifier 3, because of course we have to talk about some things in Terrifier 3 before we get. But this little motherfucker, if I ever saw a child that look like that, this is Sparta. I'm kicking the shit out of that kid. You hear me? There's no way. I have no maternal instincts for this child. Look at her. No.
And I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't blame you.
So
ridiculous.
This ends with, we allegedly think that Art is dead because, again, here we go with this. We think he's dead, but he's not. Okay. Mm-hmm. So this ends with us thinking that he's dead. So we're like, okay, he gone. No, not to the Lord, but he gone somewhere. And the mid-credit scene shows Victoria, who we talked about in Terrifier 1. She is, I don't even know if that's an eyeball or if it's just moist in the hole. I don't know. But she is mauled horrifically. Okay. She is, I don't know how she's navigating because I couldn't see if this was me. Okay. So
it's crazy. It's crazy how they ramped up like that transformation, because I think in the when she did that little interview at the very end at the end of Terrifier 1 and the very beginning of Terrifier 2, like she didn't seem as disheveled, and then you get into the end of 2 and then the beginning of 3, and it's just like, yo, what happened?
But in fairness, if you think about the mid-credit scene, and we're going to spoil this mid-credit scene, y'all, so just get ready. The mid-credit scene shows a deranged Victoria taking her vaginal blood and writing Art and Victoria in a heart on the wall. So she's into self-mutilation. So she could have originally looked like what we saw, but
you said self-mutilation. I thought about the house scene.
Yeah, the house scene, didn't you?
Glass.
I thought about it earlier, and I was like, this. I love this fucking franchise.
Yeah.
And when we get to that, I'm going to shout out another movie. But anyway, so now we're going to go into Terrifier 3. So at the end of the mid-credit scene, Victoria is also pregnant. We didn't do it. We don't know. It's just the way it was, okay? We just accept what we see on the screen. So we start back off, pick right back up where we left off. So Victoria gives birth to, in essence, Art the Clown head that's on a string. It looks very reminiscent, again, with the Dream Warriors when Freddy was eating Kirsten's body and he was just a head and a wiggle at the back. It looks, but just make it smaller at the back. It's real gross. That opening scene was like, ew, what am I? And I was looking at the screen like, what the fuck am I looking at exactly? Can you just write it down for me? Because so if that wasn't enough, when we get to the Christmas scene, I need y'all to understand something about Art the Clown. He don't give no fucks about no kids. I'm gonna say it again. He don't give no fucks about no kids. Everybody can catch this blade, gun, a shard, whatever he got, Everybody can catch it. A mallet, he does not care. He doesn't care about your age, your disability. He does not discriminate. And you know what? I respect him for that.
Absolutely. I want to preface it like this way, because like the comparison between, if we can go clown in clown territory, Pennywise eats children, or the essence of a child.
Right.
So it's a bit different. Art basically keeps the same energy with everybody. So if you see Art do something, it's equal opportunity across the board. He don't care about anything. Exactly. So yeah, and I think that's what makes it that much more sadistic, because anybody can get it.
Yeah. And you never know who's going to get it. Like, you can see somebody, he can interact with that person, and then that person's still living. Or you can see somebody he barely interacts with, and they just got hacked up. And you're just like, well,
yeah.
And you can't say, well, they had it coming, because some people are just minding their own business. And he decided, you know what? This is over for you.
Especially the ones that sleeping and completely unaware of it.
Man. And I love...
They might be the luckier ones.
Right. I love how Damien uses this opportunity to build small relationships with people who are about to be butchered.
Yeah.
You really get a feel for the little characters' personalities and everything, only for them to be there long enough to become a puddle.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love it. I love it. It makes me happy, because it's not your normal, oh, look, stand-in person number 56 was running next to something and got run over. No one cares. No one cares. These people.
And you know what? You bring up a good point, and I'm going to put a pin in that for what happens later, because then I'm gonna coin back to what you just said, because I think that I didn't even think about that until you said it. But that's absolutely correct. But I'll wait till we get to that point. But go ahead.
So we get this Christmas massacre. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. There was an elderly man that was sitting next to me, one seat over, and he had been a little fidgety, throughout the first part. After that Christmas scene, that elderly man started mumbling, and he got up and he left. He went home to Helen. You understand me? He went home. He was like, I'm done. He let his seat up. Politely, he looked at me and shook his hand, because I laughed when the little girl made a noise. You bitch, you was good. You stupid. I laughed because I'm evil. I'm evil.
I mean, and then look, I think she out of there. I don't know. I mean, granted, they could do something, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, at least 99.99999%. I'm pretty sure she out of there.
Yeah. Whatever. It ain't my fault. I mean, you can't watch these kind of things, but either way, I was like, okay, we had the Christmas miracle happen. All right. Whew. So then you're cooling down from that, and you're like, okay. So then we rev back up with Sienna and Jonathan. At this point, Sienna is getting out of what I thought was a mental ward. Did you think that was a mental ward?
I didn't know what it was at first, but it seems like, but especially when they talked about her like going back, I thought that's what it was. Now I could be wrong,
right?
But because it damn sure didn't seem like a traditional hospital, so it seemed like somewhere. So I mean, maybe because it could have been like one of those like a rehabilitation center or something. People like with PTSD, I don't know, but it's like why wasn't Jonathan there?
Yeah, she would have just had to been living with I can't remember the aunt's name. She would have just had to been living with them all the time, because they don't have no mama no more. Gabby is the little niece. Jessica, Margaret, and Florence. So I guess she was living with them, but I just took it as, again, and y'all know the Dream Warriors is one of my favorites. I just thought about the asylum type situation where she was, and she was able to leave and go visit her family and then come back, for therapy or whatever. But Jonathan seems to be okay-ish. He's in college. And I'm like, well, why he in college and she in the asylum?
Now, granted, it could be like the severity of what they dealt with because she spent the whole movie dealing with, with Art, and Jonathan really only had that instance, once he got to the house, and then their mom bit it. So
yeah, I was like, okay, so we get a little more backstory. We know that Jason Patrick was her dad. Okay, because we knew that she had a dad, but now we're introduced to him like physically. We see, okay, Jason Patrick is her dad. We know what happened to her mom. Sorry about that, honey. I don't know who Greg and Jessica were supposed to be related to, like which one was supposed to be who. And I didn't really think it mattered because hell, at one point they all looked the same with dark hair and like an olive-ish skin. I was like, wait a minute, okay, y'all did a real good casting job. So, but it seems that Greg and Jess know all of her struggles. They know about her medications. So I'm assuming that they've had some care with her, and I guess maybe she don't have nowhere else to go, because they exposed her to Gabby, and it seemed like that was kind of a, we don't know if we want to, have Gabby with her like that. But I ain't trying to be mean when I say this, y'all, please. Lauren, I think she's 30 in real life. Sienna looked damn old. When they brought Gabby out, I was like this. What's the age difference? It's your big cousin. I'm trying to understand. Because Sienna was in high school.
Yeah, it's that go one out. Yeah, because it's that Tobey Maguire effect. Because I think it was 5 years that had passed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she would have had to been like young,
right?
For them, because like for her to remember all the stuff that unless like maybe it was like prior, to like the stuff with Art. Maybe they were hanging out like right before that stuff was happening, but at the same time, it's just like, what is the age difference?
Yeah, I was like, when did y'all's interaction occur? That's the only thing I was kind of blurry about, is like, when did all of this love interaction occur? Seeing as the last movie, you lost your mom, you had already previously lost your dad, and you had a little brother to have to take care of as well. So, and the mom was a bitch most of the time. So it seems to me you would be more at home kind of looking after your little brother more so than being with this little cousin of yours who quote unquote looks up to you, because, with the loss of your dad and your mom being, the way she was, I don't know. I got confused because I was like, how old is Gabby supposed to be? Maybe if they tell me, and that would help me.
Yeah, we need somebody to get in on that, do some fact checking and research so we can get a handle on this, because we're gonna need it for moving forward.
Okay, but we are able to see the bond between the two. That's fine. Art. Do we need to talk about the mall scene?
Okay, this is where I said that I'll put the pin in, because like you said, the way that Damien Leone kind of builds up like characters, even for a short period of time, the way that you see the first Santa, come out there, everybody's waiting in line, and you kind of see the kids, and then the interaction with the little girl where like Art is on the chair, and so he calls her over, and like it seems wholesome enough because he goes into the bag and then he pulls out the doll, and it's like, oh snap, okay, he's actually got toys up in there, and then all the kids run over, and you see all the kids individually pulling out stuff, and you got everything that's going on. It's like, oh, okay. And so then, of course, he gets kicked out, and it's like, dang. But then, like, you see that one boy with the box, and so you just, everybody that watch horror movies kind of understand. You can kind of read the signs, and it's like, something gonna be in there. Now, what was in there, I didn't expect.
Right.
I thought it was gonna be something completely different, and then that was the shock when that happened. And I was like, again, like the gun, you don't expect something like this.
Nope. But he will pull that blick out on you. And you're like, where did you get it? How do you know how to shoot a gun? Where are you from? Because you do a lot of shit. Like you move real smooth, and you fool a lot of people because he just does not. I know it says Terrifier, but he just dressed as a mime does not seem terrifying. I think the more terrifying part is because he's so chill. And it's like, wait a minute, hold on. Because I mean, I'm thinking of 2007 Michael Myers, where you like this, hey, Mikey, hey, no, fool, no. But this man here is like, oh, he's giving out gifts to the children.
And no red flags for the kids. They see, you know, a clown dressed up as Santa, and this is like, not to mention the blood and stuff.
Right. As a little girl, if I see a clown dressed as Santa, I already was like, I don't trust Santa. So I would have been like this, Mommy, I want to leave. I don't know where you come from. That's not who was up there at first. Who would y'all switching shifts? That's not the real Santa.
But you know what's smart about it? The fact that, you know, no kids ran up there, but the moment that they saw the girl get a toy, it was like, oh snap, we all getting toys. And it was like, oh, the psychological aspect of it. It's like, yeah, this is a cat and mouse. Put the cheese on the mousetrap. Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it's almost like he has his main victims, but he sharpens his skills throughout each of these kills.
Yeah.
Sharpen my nails a little bit before I dive in again. And it's like, wow, you would have never thought that he would have thought of something of that nature.
Yeah.
So part 3, we have Victoria, the mauled one, who now is inhabited by the pale girl's essence. So I kind of and just roll with me, right? I feel like the pale girl's essence was a manifestation of art and a partner in crime, but because he is a child's clown, the manifestation kind of came out as a kid at first. You know, it was like, oh, well, this is a little kid, somebody to follow me and learn and all that kind of stuff. And then as the manifestation grew, because we can see that art don't really die at this point. Like, it's kind of like you keep getting reincarnated by something. I don't know, but you don't really die per se. And now we have this vulnerable person who just is over it. I mean, look at her. She's over it. Now this essence has taken over her body. And now you have a partner in crime that's a grown woman. And this grown woman has her own ulterior motives and things of that nature, but she's still his partner. Even though she's not a little girl anymore, she's still, the essence of evil has grown to be not necessarily match his, but it's in the same vein, same artery as what he's got going with his terrifying. There you go.
And that's the thing that I like about the direction that they're taking this franchise, is because they answered questions that they set up before, but then they also answered those questions with more questions.
Right.
And because I was satisfied with certain things that did get answered, but at the same time I was like, wait, I get that you answered this, but now you got me worried about this over here, and I don't realize, because the thing is, art doesn't die as a regular slash. Like, he doesn't die traditional ways, to where it's like, oh, you know, Michael Myers shot, got out the window. You know, Freddy, they found a way to get him back in the dream. Jason, you know, throw him in a lake or any body of water, you know, whatever. And then he comes back. He seems to come back with some type of catalyst. Like, something has to happen for him to actually come back.
Right.
And I think going into, you know, the end of it, where everything kind of happened, and it was just like, where that was a truckload of more questions that I had, because I was like, wait, because without giving away too much, it seems like it's gone from like a traditional slasher movie to, what universe are y'all building here?
Very supernatural at this point.
Yeah. And the way that they're setting up everything is like you're starting to, they're introducing like key players in certain things, almost like one of those TV shows that you would see, where it's like they're building up stuff, and it's like you getting ready for like the season finale or something, or the series finale, and it's like everybody that's been introduced is going to go up to this point here, and it's just like, okay, now I don't know what y'all were planning, but this seems way bigger than what I was prepared for.
Right. I feel like it's like those choose your destiny books. You know, it's like, oh, you're going to go this way. We're going to go to page 36. And I feel like now we're following Sienna's character on a choose your destiny path. Like, okay, here we go. Do you want to do this or do you want to do that? Shout out to Have You Ever, I think. Is that the name of the movie? Where they were all at dinner and they had to do different weird stuff, and it's like you either do this or you do that, and either one is kind of like, well.
Wait, is that the movie with that couple that goes into like the bar or something?
No, they're all at dinner and they all got invited to dinner, and I'm trying to think who's even in the movie, but it was like, hey, you can either, you know, stab your neighbor or cut your eyeball. What? Or maybe it's called Would You Rather?
You might. No, I think it's Would You Rather.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's very. At this point, it's like Would You Rather ish. Yeah, this is it. It's Would You Rather ish, because it's like, okay, so now if I want to save this person, I'm gonna have to do something extreme, or if I want to save this person, I got to do something extreme. And can I just add the comedy? Every time Art passed her, he was slapping the shit out of her.
And that's what I was telling Scoot. I was like, this part 3 is probably the one movie that I actually, out of the Terrifier franchise, that I laugh the most. Yeah. And that's where we get into like the Freddy Krueger aspect, because Freddy went from like a terrifying villain in 1 to where, as he progressed, he became more comedic, and of course it showed way more in Freddy versus Jason, where it was like, yo, something about you I just like. Yeah. I just like. And so Art is the same way. It's like, yeah, I fuck with you, Art. I wouldn't want to be around you, but I'm gonna watch you do what you do.
That's right. And this other man that was sitting on the other side of me in the shower scene, you know, when the girl got cut in the face with the chainsaw, I started laughing. I'm crazy, right? But when we got to the scene that we're not going to talk about, because I feel like there's always one scene per Terrifier that is where you're like, oh shit. That nice man, he was a big burly man too. He was there by himself. He looked at me and he left, and I said, well, he gone. So
yeah, I think and this is probably for all the guys that are fans of the Terrifier franchise, because part 1 we probably all laughed at, you know, that one scene, and it was like, hey, we about to give y'all the, and it was worse this time because it went on the back end and flipped over, and then said, hey, guess what, we about to do it the same way. And it was just like, it wasn't necessary, Art, you didn't have to do us like that. But I will say this, and I was telling Scoot this, I think Art did way more with a chainsaw than Leatherface has ever done with a chainsaw.
And it was a small chainsaw. Leatherface's chainsaw is too big. And I was making fun of Boss when we were playing in the forest, and he pulled out a chainsaw, and I was like, oh, it's so small. He was on the right path, because this small chainsaw is effective. Leatherface is too heavy. He gotta just throw it. Art, he got precision. He could sculpt ice with it.
He was handling business, and this is one thing about Art, is that he has a multitude of things. Like, he just don't. Yeah, I don't even realize. I don't think he's ever just used a knife outside of him using that scalpel. I don't think he's ever just used like a knife.
Nah.
The makeshift whip that he used on Jonathan and Sienna. Well, so maybe but that's I different. Was
like, how those scars healing? That's all I got.
I do have this question, because this one thing that kind of it lives rent free in the back of my mind, because there was that one scene in Terrifier 1, and we haven't seen anything quite like it. When Art, when he was chasing Tara, and he puts on the wig and strips down and starts just walking around. I'm still kind of off about that scene, because we haven't seen anything that's like adjacent to that.
No.
And it just is weird to me, because like you answered the question about the gun to an extent, because I mean I'm left it up to my own interpretation with his emotions, and if he gets mad he pulls out the gun, but at the same time it's just like that one thing has never been like addressed as to why that was the way that it was.
I don't know. That's a really good point. And to kind of piggyback off of that, Victoria / the Pale Girl's overt sexuality. I mean, like, shout out to The Exorcist if you ever seen it. We got a nod. We got a nod to The Exorcist. You got to give it to him. You got to. But when we're looking at Victoria, she's physically turned on by Art's style of killing. And it's like, and again, shout out, and I'm telling you, I would love to talk to Damien. Shout out to Damien. Tiny features. That Art and Victoria and the heart looks exactly like when Taryn was in the alley on Dream Warriors, when she was like, "Let's go," and she got the switchblades, and he's like, he got what a rush. Remember on the wall behind it was Taryn and Freddie. like come on, like I love it. I'm here for it. Y'all know I'm a nerd.
I like, see, and you can tell that Damien is like a traditionalist when it comes to horror, based even just looking at the franchise itself, because there are, and because I didn't realize there were that many callbacks until I got looking. I'm like, oh shit, you're right. Yeah. And again, because I mean, they're absolutely Dream Warriors vibes.
Yeah.
I when I said, I was like, yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
But again, that still leads me to ask, like, where is this going?
Right, where are we going? And I'm on the bus. I mean, I already got my ticket. I'm on the bus. I'm ready, because now we're curious, especially with the ending that you gave us. I think that I had a different type of emotion than I've had in a long time in a horror movie. And I'm gonna take you on this ride with me. Most horror movies, when you say, let's just say Jamie Lee Curtis, right? At the end of the original Halloween, okay, we're like, oh no, I'm safe. Where's Michael? He was there. He not there. All right, well, I'm safe. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, cool. Nancy, at the end of the original Freddy movie, man, you back with your friends though. I mean, you in that car that looked like him, and your mama got jerked through that hole, but. This movie to me left you with an uneasy feeling of you are left with nothing and you're not safe.
Yeah, and the thing is about that, and the reason why I appreciate it, and this is why I praise Lauren Laverne, because she portrays like that PTSD and what she's gone through so well, to where it's like it leaves you to be like, yo, I need to be afraid of what's going on here. Like I'm like, because of everything that she's going through, and I love how they did the stuff at the dinner table with their friend, with the Pastor Rice.
I love that so much,
and to show how well like how she's trying, because like you don't really get that too much, like, because most people want to get to the kills or whatever, but to see how this stuff affects a person that's gone through it, especially after 5 years. Fuck that girl that I forgot her name, the with the podcast.
Oh yeah,
with the True Crime podcast.
Yeah,
because it's like trying to sitting there saying, oh wait, it's been 5 years, you should be over. Nah, you can't tell somebody when it's time to be over something. There, you know what? There is one gripe that I actually do have about the movie, and that's only because if in fact that death did happen, I'm mad that we didn't see it.
Right. That I'm like, where I wanna. How did it get here?
Yeah, because at the same, like, I mean, getting that phone conversation, knew something was up.
Right.
But when you turn out and realize that, oh yeah, this isn't who you thought it was, it's such and such, it's just like, is it really though? Are y'all really gonna do that to me?
Right. I don't know. I got another callback, and it's your fault.
Wait, are you gonna say 7?
Nope, pass the rice.
Oh, look.
Pass the rice. Think about it. Creep Show 2. Thanks for the ride, lady. Come on, man. And Tom Savini was in it. By the way, I screamed in the theater. I don't give a fuck about you.
Hold up. Look, there's not much appreciation for Creep Show or Creep Show 2, because that was one of the quintessential anthologies.
Yes.
Like, period.
Yes.
So you know how afraid of water I was for such a long time, like being in the deep end, because I always assume, like, because you get those bundles of trash or shrub that's like in the water just floating. It's just like, you know what?
Gonna eat you.
I don't want to deal with that.
And it might come up on the shore if you don't get further enough up there, okay?
When you think you're safe.
You're not.
But that does beg the question too, going back to that potential death. Mm-hmm. If it is such and such, based on what was shown with our leading lady, could this other person have potential characteristics that may prevent said whatever?
That part. That's a very good point. We don't know, because I didn't know until I was that years old that the pale girl could just possess bodies.
Yeah.
Well, nobody told us that. Yeah, we know it was creepy. Shut up.
That's the point, Scoop.
Exactly. But we know she could possess bodies, and she's just jumping like, hey, you know what? Mm-hmm. I think I need a better body because this one don't have no eyes, you know? Like,
yeah.
So what's the ultimate goal of her? You know, we're left wondering a lot of different things. I'm going to tell you like this. If I ever have to bite through any type of entrails, you might as well go on and off me. I'm not biting through nothing. It's not, if I bite it and it's squishy, I'm gonna throw up on everybody.
Look, she didn't hesitate. Oh, that's what it was. This would have been a gripe had they not explained it with the quote unquote characteristics, because when Art smashed them digits, I was like, ain't no way you can just come out here and then, you know, do anything effective with that. Yeah, because that's how I was looking. Because when she got that gift, I'll say, I was like, you can barely unwrap this thing. How are you gonna use what's in it? But then after that, I was like, oh, it makes sense now. Because I was about to get mad.
Right, I was like, ain't no way your battered hands are doing nothing. I would have been like, hey, don't fucking rush me. Which I think it's very interesting. The thing that Victoria said, that's why they chose you. Who is they? I'm like, who chose her? What, did I miss something? And I thought, I was like, did I black out? I was like, because is this a gift of some sort? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, she said that's why they chose you, and you are playing with her. Now that is smart. If we ever take anyone and they tied up and we need to untie them, we know what to do, right? You ain't going nowhere. Get to the door if you want to.
Because I thought they was gonna be dumb enough to be like, you know what? Yeah, go ahead, wrap yourself. We're gonna untie you. No, we gonna untie you after this. Now let's see if you can. Which I thought was kind of funny, because I was like, damn, that's messed up. That's messed up that y'all gonna do that.
That's the best thing to do, because why would you let somebody who obviously is too nimble just free like that? Nah, you gotta show them something. And I was like, okay, I appreciate it. It pleased me. But this whole series with the sword and the Valkyrie type character and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, who is they? They chose her for what purpose? Because right now she's just on the ground crying. I don't really know. And what's with Victoria's blood though? Because I was like, what is happening right there? Like, ew.
Because you just ain't gonna have your blood be acidic like that, and it just automatically open up, something. It would just go down to the floor. Like you telling me that whole puddle is effective like that, to where it's like you didn't open a gateway at this point.
So I'm curious again, what entity is Victoria / the Pale Girl? What are you exactly? Because if we're talking about any type of possession, you kind of have to let them in essence, through different variations. You could go over 1 million possession movies, but she was like, you have to be broken enough and accept it. And I'm like, now wait a minute. I could see why Victoria will be broken. She can't see anyway, so there's that. But you got to be broken. That's giving me some type of, demon weird shit. So I'm
and you know what? Maybe that's what it is on how they pick the victims, because it's like, I'm going to terrorize this person to the point to where I want to see how far they can make it. And if they're good enough to get through this, then that'll be who I'm going to go ahead and possess. And so with Sienna, you get her broken down in this movie to where like, she's just like, I don't know if I can handle any of this. So it's like, okay, she's vulnerable. Oh, wait, you still got this little son of a gun that's keeping you in the game. So, yeah. So,
it's interesting.
It is.
If people are not watching this for the actual story too, they need to start, because it is quite just peeling on the surface like we've done. It's a lot of interesting things that you have to take into consideration when you're looking at this as a whole franchise. And who is really Art the Clown, and what is his absolute motive? Who is the Pale Girl? Where she come from for real? I mean, I gave my hypothesis, but that doesn't have to be necessarily true, and what's up with the Valkyrie girl? Who picked you? Who chose you? Because I didn't see nobody. I saw your daddy. We saw him at Texas Frightmare. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, her daddy Jason Finch. He didn't gave up being a vampire. Cool.
I can almost guarantee that once this franchise starts taking off a little more, once they get into like whatever they're trying to go into, we start getting a lot more new fans that go back into the old movies that finally like put their queasiness aside, Scoot, and actually start wanting to get the backstory to dive in to see like where everything happened. Because I doubt anybody's going to want to start smack dab like at 4 or 5 if they get to that point where they start diving into everything else. It's like, nope, you need to go through this. You need to go through and see all this here first before you get, you understand what's going on here. So,
and every guy that I've talked to, I was like, of course, because Lip, if you know me, you know me. Every guy was like, so you watched the whole thing, but how was everybody else? I was like, when I left, there was a Hispanic man with shades on sitting outside, and he goes, did you hear screams? And I was like, I think I did. He was like, it was me. He goes, is the movie over? And I was like, how long have you been out here? Like, I don't even know where he came from. He just was sitting out there just like. So for me, resident gore horror, those things don't bother me. So I'm into it. But I tell every guy, you need to watch the introduction so you understand a little more of the character, and watch the films in order and then watch it. Now, if you cannot get past the first film, let it go. It's not for you. Just don't try to force yourself, because you're gonna be sick like those men that were around me.
Yep.
But if you're like me, gore horror, I want a shirt. Lip, when you see me with a shirt, it says gore horror on it. Don't say nothing. Just accept it. Okay. If you're like me and you're just like, that doesn't bother me. I watch foreign films that are gory, and that's different. American versus foreign is horse of a different color. So this doesn't do anything to me. I'm thinking how I could make that in my house with some bloody nubs and things of that nature. Except for the one thing that I was like, no, I can't reenact such is the bedroom scene in part 2 with the bleach and stuff.
Look, most people they're not gonna make it past 2.
No.
If they get into it, once 2 happens, they're gonna be like, you know what, I'm checked out. Just because, again, it's just one of those things where it's like you think it's over, and then it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
And he's not going to simply stab you.
No.
Too many people are accustomed to that.
That was the quintessential definition of give it time or let them cook. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. I mean, if it was a real life situation, I'd be like, you know what? Nah. No. I mean, I feel for you. But for the movie though, it's like that's what we want in our slashers.
That's right. At this point in horror, this is what we need in our slashers. You know, I tried to get a friend of mine who doesn't really watch horror movies that much to watch the original 1978 Halloween classic. And she was like, I'm bored. Because your mind, she's never seen it before. Now, I've seen it 2 million times. I was talking to a friend on video chat yesterday and I heard that was it. And I said, who in your house watching Halloween? She goes, how did you know that? I said, because I know it. So for me, I watched this as a kid. So I'm used to the kind of weird stabs, the ones that don't look as, but today, in our world of you can turn on social media and see somebody get stabbed, stomped out, whatever, you gotta bring it. And I mean, I think that's just the thing that people are not taking into consideration. If you're going to make a horror slasher at this point, you gotta have Terrifier type gore, because no one's going to be interested in watching that. We've already seen the Freddys, the Jasons, the Michael Myers, the Hatchets. We've seen all that. That's old.
True. And I think that's and it's the fact that everybody's so desensitized nowadays, because you understand there was, and for everybody that doesn't know, there was a big gap, because back in the day a lot of people didn't have, you know, most people they relied on prosthetics and small things, so they did a lot more psychological stuff. Sleepaway Camp, for instance, you know, stuff like that that would get you in like certain shock value, but they didn't spend so much time on it. It's something where you actually have to pay attention and realize, wait a minute, hold on. And then stuff like that freaked you out. That's why with Sleepaway Camp, and I keep saying that because that's a movie where most people really can't go back to it to get that same shock value. Because like once you see it at that one time, you get to the end, and it's just like there was so much unsettling essence about it, to where when you walk away from it, it's like you're still thinking about it. And so we get from, like you said, the Freddys, the Jasons, the Michael Myers, you know, the Chuckies, where you get to all this stuff where it's like, oh, this stuff's been done. And you get into like the early 2000s, where a lot of those movies really didn't hit as hard, because it's like, how do we reinvent the wheel? How do we do this? How do we do that? And a lot of the stuff like Ghost Ship, which only had the, you know, it's only good for like that first 5 minutes. Yeah.
Right.
And then you get the Terrifier, where it's like, yeah, people are unsettled by it, but it's a necessary evil at that point, to where it's like, we want y'all back in the theater. We want y'all talking about this. We want the same thing where it's like we used to have, you know, those commercials where it showed everybody in the theater, like when they had the Paranormal Activity marketing, best marketing, but the movie isn't as scary like that, but it got people to go to the movies. This is something where because I went and saw it yesterday on a Monday night. My theater was almost packed on a Monday night, not realizing that, because this movie's still NC-17.
Right.
So you're not going to get a lot of people watching it like that. However, it's something about it that's got people going to the theater. So it's working.
Right.
So many people might not like it, but it's effective. So
yeah. Because people want to see something different. I mean, let's be real. We have been, and I hate to say it like this, we have been possessioned out. These movies are looking exactly the same. And I'm like, didn't I watch that one already? It's about the same shit. We have been some nun somewhere. We've been there. Okay. You know, it's like, okay, we're done with that. You know, we have tons of creature features. I mean, Sci-Fi Channel has ruined that for everybody. We have tons. We have so many vampire movies coming out within the next, 6 months. It's like, okay, so we need this slasher, this down home. I'm going to kill you for no reason that we can tell, and I'm going to kill
Mm-hmm.
you mean. I'm not going to stab you sweet. I'm going to kill you mean, and you're going to be long dead, and you're still going to be getting pulverized, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
people need because horror. We don't want it to lose its steam just because we're watching the same shit, you know?
Absolutely. And it
Because
has a good plot.
obviously, yeah, it does. And I was like, come on with it because now we're looking at directors that are in our age group.
Right.
They grew up watching the same things that we've watched, and they're like, okay, what can we do? What can we bring? What elements freaked me out as a kid? What elements made me go, nope, turn that light on. What things made me feel away. And like I've mentioned a lot of things, these are key hitter moments that are in other horror movies that it tells your subconscious horror brain, uh-oh, those two people finna do what in a van outside by the tree. They gone. We don't know how they going, but they going because our brains are already trained for these things. So I'm for it. I'm happy that it exists. I enjoyed it. It has a 77% rating right now on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's gonna get higher.
Yeah, because when I went, it was pretty. I went on a Saturday. It was the first showing on a Saturday, and it was pretty packed, even with the people that left. It was pretty packed, and people are enjoying it. They stayed to the end, and you could see everybody at the end pulling out their phones to see if there was not after credit scene. And I'm like, okay, so I feel like it is needed. Like you said, it's needed to have it. You can feel the way you feel about the gore or whatever, but at this time, this is what we need. Nobody wants to see somebody just basically get poked with a needle. Like, what? I'm not going to see that shit. I'm not getting out of my bed for that. I was waiting, like, going to see Terrifier 3. So
And they dropped it at the right time.
They did. I really enjoyed it. I did. Everybody kind of thought I would. And I was like, just tread lightly, y'all. Just remember what year it is and go into it with the thought it's going to be gory. There's no sugarcoating, nothing. Art don't have no sugar in that bag. Okay?
Yeah.
So if you go into the thought, it's going to be gory. It has a good story. You're going to get some good kills. I think you'll enjoy it just fine. You may have to look away, not me, not Lip. We didn't look away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, my eyes were glued to the screen the entire time.
Okay. I didn't look at my phone, nothing. I was just like, yeah. But, take it for what it is. It's a movie. Don't be weird.
Yes.
So, yes, I do. Lip, do you have anything else you want to add about it?
I'm ready for 4.
Yep.
And whatever potential spinoff they may or may not have. So
I'm ready too.
I'm here for it. So
you want to give me a little TV show mini series about this pale girl? I'll take it. And I'm going to watch it and do a review about it. So I want to say thank you to the one and only LipDizzle. Tell them where we can find you, Lip.
I would say social media, but I'm not on there like that. But you know what? You can check the T.A.G channel. That's T.A.G, the Average Gamers at YouTube. Wow, I was about to say at Yahoo Yoo-hoo.
Nah, you can find him on OnlyFans.
Here we go with this.
Legal, Tinder, Tumblr. Yeah, he still got a Tumblr. It's still out there.
You know what's cool? At some point, somebody's gonna probably check this out and realize that you're full of it and that there's no validity to any of that.
Farmers only. That's the main one. Farmers only. That's the one where you can really find him at. And second to that, Black Planet, all of that. That's where you can find
MySpace.
And here's the problem with Scoot saying that, because the thing is, you're gonna have somebody that is gully enough to make one of those accounts under my name and then use like random pictures that they find.
True.
And people are gonna start believing that. And I'm gonna have to get a VPN to stop all the harassment. I'm gonna get sponsored by Surfshark or something.
Wow.
But,
So
but
Lip is our tag person. You can also find me on tag on occasions. You know, sometimes I peek my head in and talk about some wrestling. However, I am one of the less than stealthy ninjas. I'm the lady ninja, the gore horse. And you can find me at Less Than Stealthy Ninjas with the voice that you hear, and Cosmic Nerd, if we let him play, because sometimes, he don't listen, so you got to be on punishment, but you can find us on YouTube under Less Than Stealthy Ninjas. It's all one word. We are also on Instagram. We are on TikTok. We do Boss Reacts, where Boss will look and watch movie trailers and he'll react to them, and people like it. I'm like this. No one cares. We also do games.
Yeah, and buddy, wonderful car chronicles.
Yes, we all do games, and sometimes together. You're missing your time, Lip. It's about time for you to join us again.
Oh, I mean, look, people keep trying to get me and Neat to
he got pieced up by
to run the ones. I didn't. It wasn't pieced up. It wasn't pieced up. It was we went down to the wire, and he
put the boom baps on him Sunday.
He didn't put the boom baps on me. See, and this is the reason why I need to rectify that situation. So you'll see that soon enough, people.
Yeah. So come join us. We don't bite. I mean, not really, not virtually at least.
Not really.
And we just like to have a good time. We like to talk about things. We like to play video games. We just like to talk shit. So you should come join us. You give us a like and a follow. Go like and follow the tag page as well. Leave your comments below. Let us know if you're afraid of the movie. If you've seen it and you love it, just let us know. Let us know something, and we will respond back. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you again, Lip, for joining me in this wonderful journey into Art the Clown. And y'all have a good one.